Long before forests resembled anything familiar, before grass-covered plains, before flowers bloomed across landscapes, Earth was home to vegetation so strange that it would appear almost alien today. These plants did not evolve for beauty, agriculture, or human survival. They emerged in worlds shaped by volcanic heat, unstable climates, toxic atmospheres, and ecosystems unlike anything that exists now. Some towered above the ground with forms that resembled giant columns rather than trees. Others spread across wetlands with bizarre reproductive structures and textures that no modern plant possesses. Entire groups appeared, dominated the planet for millions of years, and then disappeared so completely that only fragments remain trapped inside ancient stone. To understand these impossible plants, it is necessary to travel back more than 400 million years to a period when life on land was still new. Before that time, most living organisms existed in the oceans. Land was barren, exposed to harsh ultraviolet radiation, and largely incapable of supporting complex ecosystems. Yet slowly, certain forms of life began adapting to these conditions. Early plants evolved from aquatic ancestors, developing structures that allowed them to survive outside water. The first land plants were small and simple. They lacked deep roots, woody trunks, and leaves in the modern sense. Instead, they spread close to the ground, in damp environments where moisture remained available. Scientists believe these early plants reproduced through spores, much like mosses and ferns today. But even these primitive forms triggered a transformation that would permanently alter Earth's atmosphere and surface. As plants expanded across land, they absorbed carbon dioxide and released oxygen through photosynthesis. Over millions of years, this process contributed to major atmospheric changes. Soil began forming as rock weathered and organic matter accumulated. Entire ecosystems slowly emerged where none had existed before. But the plants responsible for this transformation were not ordinary by modern standards. During the Devonian period, roughly 419 to 359 million years ago, plant evolution accelerated dramatically. Competition for sunlight pushed vegetation upward, resulting in the emergence of some of the earliest tree-like organisms. Yet many of these ancient trees were unlike any living tree today. One of the strangest examples was a plant known as Cladoxylopsida. Fossil evidence suggests these organisms could reach impressive heights, but their internal structure was radically different from modern wood-producing trees. Rather than possessing a solid trunk made of concentric growth rings, these plants contained multiple strands of vascular tissue arranged in separate columns. Their trunks may have resembled bundles of hollow tubes packed together instead of dense wood. Scientists believe this unusual structure allowed flexibility and support, despite lacking the efficient wood systems seen in later plants. Their crowns were sparse and fern-like, creating silhouettes that would appear unfamiliar and almost artificial against prehistoric skies. Another extraordinary plant from this era was Archaeopteris, often considered one of the first true trees. It combined characteristics of ferns and seed plants, occupying a transitional position in plant evolution. Archaeopteris developed woody trunks and extensive root systems capable of stabilizing soil on a large scale. Entire forests of these plants spread across ancient landscapes, transforming erosion patterns and influencing global climate systems. But even these forests differed dramatically from modern woodlands. There were no flowering plants, no grasslands, and no fruit-bearing trees. The ground was dominated by primitive vegetation, giant fungi, and dense moisture-loving plants. Insects were beginning to diversify, but vertebrate animals on land remained limited. The atmosphere itself contained different oxygen levels, and climates were often warmer and more humid than today. As Earth entered the Carboniferous period, around 359 million years ago, plant life expanded into immense swamp forests. These ecosystems produced some of the strangest and largest vegetation in Earth's History. Giant relatives of modern club mosses, horsetails and ferns dominated the landscape. Some club moss relatives, such as Lepidodendron, grew over 30 meters tall, despite being more closely related to tiny ground plants alive today than to actual trees. Lepidodendron possessed tall trunks covered in diamond-shaped scars left behind by fallen leaves. Their bark-like outer surfaces were thick and patterned, giving them an appearance unlike modern forest vegetation. Instead of reproducing through seeds, many of these giant plants relied on spores released from cone-like structures near their tops. Dense forests of these towering plants filled swampy lowlands, creating oxygen-rich environments and accumulating